Good morning, everyone. This is a song by Eddie Watkins. You all can sing along if you want to. Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and holiness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Yes, I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Oh, I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Thank you.
Hey everybody, my name is Bobby. Welcome to Mile High Church. We're so glad that you could spend part of your weekend with us, especially if you're new. Our vision, Oneness Revealed, a world of love, peace, and abundance for all. Our mission, to serve as a spiritual beacon for personal empowerment and global enlightenment. Before we get started today, we want to give you a look at a few things coming up around Mile High Church for you and your family. Discover meaningful ways to make a difference in our community at our volunteer fair happening today. Come to the community center after service to explore various volunteer opportunities here at Mile High. And our annual Fall Fest is Saturday, October 14th. Bring the family, wear a costume, play some games, harvest candy, and get popcorn stuck between your teeth. I still have it from last year.
Hey everybody, does your pet have a voice? That's what we're asking people today.
If I scratch him in the right spot, he's like, oh yeah, that's right, that's right. He moans a lot, so it's all,
It's kind of like this. He kind of talks like this when he's in the house.
Is there more than one rabbit outside? Because if there's more than one, I just can't deal with more than just one. Is there just one?
And he'll go, I love you.
Monday, I tried to bring a mouse, but then my owner was so hungry.
Hi, how are you? I'm so excited you're home. Can I have a treat?
For more information about anything you've heard today, stop by our event center or check us out online at milehighchurch.org.
Oh, that's great. Well, welcome everybody. Happy Sunday, and thank you for joining us this morning. Guess who else is joining us? Jesse Powers is here. Jesse is a guest artist from Ohio, and we had you several months ago but I think we could have her pretty much every week, and we'd all be very happy. Because I said at the 8 o'clock, I think Jesse's way too young to have such deep lyrics and such beautiful songs, and you write such beautiful music, and we're going to join you. So welcome, Jesse Powers.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Sometimes it feels like my heart is stuck in a revolving door. It can get me down so much, I don't even want to mess with it anymore. All that too familiar feeling, oh, I know it well, but I don't let it get too far. No, I'm too good at staying cool now. Yes, I am learning the art, and I'm getting good at letting go, yeah. Getting good at giving it over, 'cause I know it ain't in my hands. Oh, I'm getting good at letting go, yeah. Getting good at giving it over, 'cause I know, though I do not understand, my soul's always got something better planned. When the shadow comes creeping in like a thief from my past, I turn on the light by remembering only my soul knows my path. And I'm getting good at letting go, yeah. Getting good at giving it over, 'cause I know it ain't in my hands. So I'm getting good at letting go, yeah. Getting good at giving it over, 'cause I know, though I do not understand, my soul's always got something better planned. And I am unburdened, yes, I am free when I believe. If I just keep trusting, if I keep the faith, I know I'll see. When I let go, and I know when I let go, and I know that my soul's always got, yes, my soul's always got, oh, my soul's always got something better planned. Yeah. Something better is coming along, so we just trust and relax and sit back, and that's why we're here at my high church this morning. Ooh, something better is coming along. Say it, something better is coming along. Something better is coming along. Oh, something better, something better, something better, something better, something better, something better. Here we go, something better is coming along. Thank you.
Jesse Powers knocking us alive this morning. Thank you so much, Tom Litch and our Mile High Band. Good morning. And if you weren't already aware, you are at Mile High Church, which is a wonderful place to be, whether you're in our Teal Sanctuary or watching someplace. We all co-create sanctuary together in a world where division is often emphasized. Here we emphasize unity and oneness. In an everyday life that may be filled with unique struggles for all of us, here's a place to let them go just for an hour. They'll be waiting for you, don't worry. And to remember that we are connected with a source that when we connect deeper and deeper to it can help us to thrive. This is October 1st, and it means it's the beginning of our adventure in faith. This is something we explore every year together. This year's theme is spirituality from the ground up. And really what it means is there's deeper ways to participate. If you go online to our Adventures in Faith landing page, you can join a small group. You can do so at the event center as well. They're totally free, online or on campus. You can sign up for our Daily Pearl, which is a daily little bit of email info. How many people have those? They're pretty cool, right? We enjoy those. And our youth church is participating. We're so grateful for that. So parents, this is something you can talk about with them too. And we're kind of calling this year an adventure in faiths, because every week as well, Reverend Zamira is going to be offering us a unique interfaith spiritual practice that our homework is to practice. What is an area of your life that you would like to expand your faith in this month? What is an area in your life in which you'd like to expand your faith in this month? And let us take that into heart as we move into this time of song and a beautiful prayer from our own Dr. Michelle Medrano.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
Just breathe in that very breath of life and allow ourselves to sink into the awareness of this power, this presence, this very life itself. It is in, through, and as all of creation, and as organic and available to us as the beautiful blue sky that we can turn our attention to. And indeed, spiritual practice is all about attention. And so we turn our attention this morning just as easily as we look into our beautiful sky, we turn our attention to the all that is, to the infinite presence, to the light and the love and the wholeness that abounds. We allow ourselves to be infused with its beautiful presence as easily as the sunlight infuses us with its energy. It simply is what is so at all times, in all places, in all moments. In this moment, our attention goes to the living presence as the all that is, and therefore we are completely included in it. We breathe it, it breathes us. We live it, it lives us. We express ourselves, and it expresses through us. We set an intention for ourselves, as Reverend Josh just reminded us, and it meets that intention with its light and love and says, "Oh, yes, my beloved." We claim that adventure in faith, that adventure in faiths for ourselves this day as we anchor into this time together and allow ourselves to feel the beautiful synchronicity that occurs in that moment of connectedness where we know who we are, we know what God is, and we allow that life to enliven our intentions, and therefore we are that adventure in faith, and we open ourselves with great joy and great receivership to the good that is right here this day that launches us on this journey together. That good shows itself to us through every moment we experience here, through the beautiful music and the message and all that takes place in connection, and that which arises in us today as we spend this time together, knowing that we are guided by our own inner light, and we continually breathe into the moment and allow it in, and allow it in, knowing so joyfully that as we do this, it is done in us, as us, through us, and that inspiration of creation is launched through this prayer. In gratitude, we know that this is so, and we simply let go and let it be so now. Thank you, life, and so it is.
I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. A love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Yes, it's a love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Good morning. For our inner faith, sharing, and spiritual practice this morning, it comes to us from the Christian tradition. And I'm joined here this morning with practitioners Dodie Jackson and Stephen Jansen, who are also members of creating this beautiful Adventures in Faith. They were on the committee that created this beautiful program. And our practice is centering prayer, and it was developed in the 1970s by Father Thomas Keating and the Trappist monks. And they created this practice to bring prayer into a meditative and contemplative state so that we could have a deeper experience of the divine. And we're going to, together this morning, explore centering prayer and the 3 steps of it. The purpose of it is that it brings us into that sense of the divine, but also it is a practice that fits so beautifully into our contemporary life. And so if you want to continue to explore these steps in your spiritual practice this week, there will be a handout that's available with these steps out in the guest services desk and also on our website. So I invite you to explore it there. But first, let's just go ahead and move within using our breath to connect with your heart right here in this moment and set your intention to open to that sense of the divine within you, and to be completely available for spiritual practice. The second step involves selecting a sacred word that is used for your attention and your focus, and this would be a word that is meaningful to you. It could be love or peace or the sacred sound Om. But this word with its meaning is going to be your anchor throughout the centering prayer. As we move into this third step together, where we are going to move into a state of silence. And as we are in that sense and in that silence, if a thought should come up, you use your sacred word to bring you back to center. And if a thought arises, it's not to push it away or force it or resist it in any way or judge it. It's just simply to let it go and return to your word. And so as I chime this crystal bowl, we'll move into that state of silence with your word of anchor, your sacred word, and we will be together in that silence until I ring the bowl again. And so I invite you right now, if you haven't already, to close your eyes and to go within, to breathe in and out through your heart and connect with your sacred word. Gently release the meditation now. May you have a blessed week, and so it is.
So let's just all breathe that in again. And let's just consider how it might feel if you fully believed and knew that you were made in the perfect image of love. There in the center of my soul, I can feel it all around me, something holy and untold, but I hear it perfectly. Somehow in the deepness of now, I can see I was made in the image. I was made in the image of love. I was made in the image. I was made in the image of love. Here and now I can see I was made beautifully. I was made in the image. I was made in the image of love. Beyond books and words and songs, at the gate of all my longing, leaving certainty behind. I take one step and you come running. It's clear, in the sweetness of here, I can see we were made in the image. We were made in the image of love. We were made in the image. We were made in the image of love. Here and now I can see we were made beautifully. We were made in the image. We were made in the image of love. was made in the image. I was made in the image of love. I was made in the image. I was made in the image of love. Here and now I can see I was made perfectly. I was made in the image. I was made in the image of love.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse Powers. An incredible song. Thank you so much. Hey, Rob, hey, Kent. Thank you to our Mile High Band, too. How many of you here in this room are volunteering today? Thank you. 10,000 thank yous to each of you. And I love the spiritual practice that Reverend Zamira led us through. Let's hear it for them. Thank you for that. But another one of my favorite spiritual practices is service. And so we're having a volunteer fair in the community center. You can email one of us if you're online and want to get involved more. But it's a great way to take a next step into spiritual community by being of service to your community. And so you can hear all the ways that you can usher or greet or join our safety team, support our youth church. Go check it out, and thank you to all of our volunteers. It's Adventure in Faith. Our theme, spirituality from the ground up. The working title for a while was Ground Up Spirituality, which brought forth images of hamburgers. And also, I don't want to hurt anyone's spirituality in any way, but sometimes our spirituality does need to be deconstructed and built back up again so that it can strengthen us and so we can grow. And a key word you're going to hear throughout this series is roots. And a key point that I want to share with you today is that your roots are deeper than you know. Your spiritual roots are deeper than you know. I think this James Webb telescope is just one of the greatest things that humanity has ever come up with. Launched in December of 2022, the images of our galaxies that it is bringing us are just astounding. And scientists tell us when we're looking at that image, we're not just Star Trek-like looking at the next great frontier, we're looking at our distant past. We're looking at our cosmic roots. And yes, your roots are where you came from. Your roots are your family. Your roots are your moral character, but they're also cosmic roots. You came from that. Talk about the image of love, right? And you're more than that image of love. You are that love itself. Your roots are deeper than you know. And this isn't a series about some new idea or some way to change yourself, because you don't need changing. You don't need fixing. You're not broken. We all just need to learn to settle more into our roots and to allow those roots to inform the rest of our living. Your roots aren't just your past, they're your spirit. Your roots aren't just your history, they're your possibility. Your roots aren't just how you have grown, they're how you will continue to grow. Connecting with those roots helps give us our wings. And that's today's message, roots and wings. It comes from what I believe to be an African saying. We give our children two things. The first is roots, and the second is wings. But the roots come first. When we root ourselves in the truth of who we are and continue to go back and to nurture them, it can, when we're facing challenges and struggles, it can provide us the wings we need to transcend them, to rise over them, to use our resilient heart to claim to live in joy no matter what. You may think that you have left your roots, but the truth is your roots never leave you. As part of our adventure in faith, there's a worksheet online that you can download. Here's a picture of it here, and it involves some questions. And so my message today is about leading us through these questions. And it starts with our roots. And the first question is, what are 3 core beliefs that you can return to again and again to help inform your living? 3 core beliefs. Anyone got one? Love. That's a good belief. Peace. I am one with the universe. Yes, you are. Beautiful, beautiful. I love the spiritual superhero origin story of Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou rose to national fame when she read a poem during Bill Clinton's presidential inauguration in 1992. And probably like you, I had just never seen spirit so tangibly visible in a presence before. And I was only 11 at the time, but years later I would purchase her memoirs. And the first few, I'm looking for all the spirituality, and it's really not there. It's beautifully written, but the stories are incredibly painful. The abuse she endured from her family, the way that she was manipulated by men. Probably one of the most beautiful women in the world, and yet still living in a society that told her that she was not enough and ugly because of the color of her skin. And she has an experience of receiving a core belief. She was in a theater and dance and song group, and they were doing a book study. And the book that they were reading was by Emily Cady, called Lessons in Truth, a New Thought book, first published in 1905. And to get a taste of it, it reads something like this. God is life, love, intelligence, substance, omnipotence, omniscience, omnipresence. I am a child or manifestation of God, and every moment his life, love, wisdom, power flow into and through me. I manifest my real self through this body now. God works with me to will and to do whatsoever he wishes me to do, and he cannot fail. And so they were reading this book aloud together, and Maya must have come upon the following passage. Take the thought, God loves me, and think the words over and over continually for a few days, trying to realize that they are true and see what the effect will be on your body and circumstances. And the gentleman who was leading the group said, Mike, can you say again, God loves me? God loves me. Again. God loves me. Again. God loves me. Again. And Maya is getting a little off-put here. She's been talked to enough by men in this way, and she's the only person of color in this circle. So she's a little bit defensive, but she starts to get it. God loves me. God loves me. God loves me. And through the roots of her being, it informs her heart, and she begins to weep. God loves me. Sometimes we may ask ourselves, how can I best love God? An offering, a prayer, doing good works. Perhaps the best way to love God is to let God love you. Perhaps the best way to love God is to let the love of God into your own heart so that it can be aware of itself and rejoice in the awareness of it in your own being. If you YouTube Maya Angelou, God Loves Me, you will see video after video of her telling this spiritual superpower origin story again and again. And every time, the same change of form, the same tears fill her eyes. She shared, there was a possibility that God really did love me, Maya Angelou. I suddenly began to cry at the gravity and grandeur of it all. I knew that if God loved me, then I could do wonderful things. I could try great things, learn anything, achieve anything. For what could stand against me, since one person with God constitutes the majority? What is the core belief for you, the core beliefs that you can return to over and over and inform you of the spiritual truth of who you are, so you can live as the greatness of who you are in your everyday life? For me, there's an essential belief in progress and good. No matter the person, no matter the situation, no matter the seeming evil, I believe that there's such thing as a good without opposite, and that we can work towards it in ourselves and in every circumstance. It's led me through so much. What might it be for you? We also asked the question on the worksheet, what are 3 everyday practices that you engage in that connect you with your roots? Could be a traditional spiritual practice like meditation or prayer. It could be the music you gift yourself in your car. It could be the kind of books you like to read. It could be the person you make sure you say I love you to every day. I think all of us have these rituals and these practices, but they do demand, I think, greater clarity to recognize that I engage in this to remember who I am in this everyday life that is an ever-increasing marketplace. I engage in this practice to remember who I am and why I'm here. The more we experience and ground ourselves in the roots, the more our heart opens by itself. I've never opened my own heart, but I've experienced an open heart when I ground myself in the roots, and I come to realize that these words like transparency and vulnerability that had sounded like weakness to me when my heart was closed are actually my power. That those bring me into a greater level of intimacy, of living from a place of heart. Grounding yourself in your roots opens your heart. And so we also have questions of the heart. And the first question has to do with those core relationships that warm your heart. The importance of engaging in those in a regular and consistent way. Could be a loved one in your family. Could be an author or someone that you hear and get the news from. It could be a practitioner. Another spiritual superhero origin story that I love is that of Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers, who as a young boy considered himself overweight and experienced intense bullying by some kids that would chase him on the way home and call him Fat Freddy. Hey, Fat Freddy, we're going to get you. Watch out, Fat Freddy, we're going to get you. And being the sensitive young man that he was, young Fred would go home and he'd hide under his blankets and he'd cry. He'd just sob. No sense of dignity, no sense of self-worth. We've all been there in some way, shape, or time. And sobbing, there were 2 things that helped transform young Freddie. The first was he would think about his grandfather and how much he cherished that relationship. Fred Brooks McFeely. So if you're familiar with the show, that name will sound familiar to you. And at the end of every time that they spent time together, Freddie's grandfather would share this with him. You made this day special just by being yourself. Always remember, there's just one person in the world like you, and I like you just the way you are. He would take that message and transform so many children's lives who've been told the opposite of that profound and divine truth. The second thing for Fred came from a little book called The Little Prince. And the line, that which is most essential is invisible to the eye. that which is most essential is invisible to the eye. This stuff I'm talking about today, the roots, the heart, the wings, they're metaphors, and yet they're the most true thing about who each of us is and are. What are those relationships that bring you back to your rootedness and allow you to live from the heart? And what are those things that you do that warm your heart? It's not selfish to make sure you do those things for yourself. It's great when other people do it for you, but it doesn't always work that way, does it? What are those practices that help you warm your heart? And maybe it's just as simple as letting the people you love know how special they are to you. Fred Rogers would say, speaking of the medium of television, but I think it applies to everyday life as well, we have the choice of encouraging others to diminish this life or to cherish it in creative, imaginative ways. What's your choice? We have the choice of encouraging others to diminish this life or to cherish it in creative, imaginative ways. When we ground ourselves in our roots, when we live open-hearted, we grow wings. We grow wings. When faced with a challenge or an obstacle or an aspect of ourselves that served us for a time but will serve us no longer, we are given the wings to help us transcend and overcome any of those obstacles, to learn to identify with that spiritual resilience, inner truth, that image of love that Jesse sang so beautifully about. We get to be inspired and uplifted in. One of the questions that helps us with our wings is to identify those presences in our life who have passed on yet are still with us. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's those people who loved you. Those people who saw the truth of who you are when you couldn't see it about yourself. And this is an adventure in faith. It's a leap right here, but I invite you to consider that it is possible to see yourself in the eyes of those presences that loved you as if they were seeing you right now. So proud of you. So loving of you. So encouraging of you. Let's live in those eyes instead of those other eyes. You know what I'm talking about. Let's live in those eyes. Maybe it's because we have so many wonderful practitioners here, but I can't help but think about the 30 years that I've been in this movement and all the practitioners who've just loved me so much. Carol Armour, Madeline Fielding, Dorothy Lance, Judy Miller, Tom Hodges, goes on and on. And there's someone who loves you right now. If you can hold yourself in that vision. And I just invite us just to take 30 seconds just to whisper some of those names. I know we have to let them go, but there's that part of them that reminds us to hold on to that love they have for us. Let's just take 30 seconds in silence and whisper those names aloud. Relationships never end, like it or not. And our connection with those people who love us, they give us those wings, those angels, but they're not just out there, they're in our roots, reminding us, informing us, uplifting us. Utilize them. Welcome them back into your life in a powerful and meaningful way. The last question on the worksheet is, what is it time to surrender and let God take care of? What is faith but the ability to surrender our own need to control and understand, and to give that to a power greater than we are to act in a profound and meaningful way in our lives. What are you called to surrender? For me, it's outcomes. I'm sick of outcomes. Mitch Hedberg, the great comedian, said, "I'm sick of following my dreams, man. I'm just going to find out where they're going and catch up with them later." And there's a truth to that, which doesn't mean give up your dreams. It means live the dream. Stop associating it with an outcome or some way you think it is supposed to show up and waiting, I will be like this when this is going to happen, and start embodying your roots and your heart and being it now. And you're going to be living that dream in no time. What is it for you? What are you called to surrender? I'm listening. I'm hearing the words, but I'm not understanding them. But you know what they are. Use the worksheet. One of the most important and yet unknown traditions in our country, an essential part of the wisdom of this nature, of this nation, comes to us from the time of slavery, from African Americans right here in America. Our great national shame, also because of the resilience and tenacity of the people who were enslaved, brought forth so much wisdom and helped shape the soul of our country. And just one of these bits of wisdom is often entitled, "All God's Children Have Wings." And there are stories throughout communities during that time of slaves who would grow wings and be able to escape the great terror that was being done unto them. A tale might sound like this: "And they all remembered what they had forgotten and recalled the power that had once been theirs. Then they all stood up together, and they all leaped up into the air with a great shout, and in a moment were gone, flying like a flock of crows, over the field, over the fence, and over the top of the wood. The master, the overseer, and the driver looked after them as they flew beyond the wood, beyond the river, miles on miles, until they passed beyond the last rim of the world and disappeared in the sky like a handful of leaves. They were never seen again." And some might read this as a naive folk tale, but for me, I can't think of a story that better represents spiritual resilience and the power of faith to help us overcome obstacles. You have wings. You may not know it, but they're there. And when we root ourselves in the truth of who we are, in our traditions, in our history, but even more in that cosmic truth that makes us in the image of love, it gives us wings. It gives us tenacity, even in the most difficult seeming circumstances. Howard Thurman, great mystic of the 20th century, the first minister of an interfaith church, the Church for All Peoples in San Francisco, bringing the philosophy of nonviolence to America and inspiring Martin Luther King Jr. He was living in segregated Florida with his two daughters, Anne and Olive. And Anne and Olive saw a playground, and they said, "Daddy, can we go swing on those swings?" Dreading this moment, Thurman had to say, "No, you cannot swing on those swings." "Why, Daddy?" "Let's go home. I'll make you some lemonade, and we'll talk about it." And I can only imagine what that walk home was like. Can you imagine having to tell your child that the society they lived in saw them as not enough, as second-class citizens, because of the color of their skin? And Thurman took a unique approach. He sat with his daughters and he shared with them, "It is against the law for us to use those swings, even though it is a public school. At present, only white children can play there. But It takes the state legislature, the courts, the sheriffs and policemen, the white churches, the mayors, the bands and businesses, and the majority of white people in the state of Florida. It takes all of these to keep 2 little black girls from swinging on those swings. That is how important you are. Never forget, the estimate of your own importance and self-worth can be judged by how many weapons and how much power people are willing to use to control you, to keep you in the place they have assigned to you. You are 2 very important little girls. Your very presence can threaten the entire state of Florida. What would it mean in your life to open up to a new experience of God's love in your heart? What would it mean to let it in a new and profound way? What would it mean to commit yourself in your life to letting people you care about and interact with, to courageously let them know how special they are and the impact that they have on your life, that there's no one else just like them? What does it mean to embrace and recognize that you yourself are a threat to every wrong that may be taking place in your life, every wrong that may be taking place in your relationships, every wrong that may take place in your community or in your country and beyond? What does it mean to embrace that you are that important, that you have that presence that can be a transformational force, that your wings can transfer, can inspire others, that they're contagious? Give yourself the time to root yourself, to allow yourself to live courageously open-hearted, and to allow those wings to take care of themselves in a way that can move you into the next divine level of your life. As I invite our practitioner prayer partners to stand as we move into prayer, I'll just close with this quote from Maya Angelou. Again, speaking to her experience of embracing in her heart that God loves her. That knowledge humbles me today, melts my bones, closes my ears, and makes my teeth rock loosely in my gums. And it also liberates me. I am a big bird winging over high mountains, down into serene valleys. I am ripples of waves on silver seas. I'm a spring leaf, trembling in anticipation of full growth. So honoring that image of the leaf, let us know that we are not disconnected in the wind, but that we are attached to this tree of life, that we are connected with roots that make the very truth of our being, love and healing, faith and empowerment, creativity and tenacity. The deep blessing of life itself is inherent in the seed of each and every heart. And as we commit to move past and move through any false roots that we've convinced ourselves of, to reroot ourselves in that divine truth of who we are, we allow those roots to inform our living, to create healing and well-being in our body, to demonstrate forgiveness and compassion and harmony in our relationships, to demonstrate success and fun and passion and meaning in our way of working and giving back to the world. And then in those moments, not of painful isolation, but of joyful solitude, we experience and remember that we are never alone, that there is a divine presence in, through, and as us. And however you imagine or speak about this presence, it only means that it expresses more emphatically in that way. But I know it is alive in the heart that we all share. May we open ourselves to trust it, its wisdom, its grace, its healing, its light. May it take root and grow and flower in all of our lives. And so it is.
once were bars and guards to this prison cell. Now it's only thoughts and memories. I'm the only one left who's been holding me down, and I'm the only one who can set me free. I've been hiding myself from the light, and I've been denying that I deserve a better life. I can't remember how to keep the promises I make to myself, so I wait and wish like a helpless child, believing I'll be rescued by somebody else. There once were bars and guards to this prison cell. Now it's only my conditioning. I'm the only one left who's been dragging me down, and I'm the only one who can set me free. I am the only one who can set me free. I am the only one with the keys to this cage of mine. I am the only one who can heal this broken trust. I am the only one who can rise up and take what is mine. I am wild, I am free, I am always enough. I've been waiting for my day to come. No more waiting. I'm taking my freedom.
Mile High Band, I know we're always honoring all the churches and stuff, but no church has given what you've brought us today this morning. Thank you so much. So beautiful, beautiful. As we move into our time of offering, October is also pumpkin patch time. Are Tom and Linda here? They're probably out at the table somewhere, but Tom and Linda Bruin, there you are. Stand up, stand up. Before you clap. This is a work of Jeffco Interfaith Partners. It's a work of Mile High Church, but it's really the incredible tenacity and commitment of Tom and Linda Bruin that have created, I think, 20-some houses for Habitat for Humanity over a year, raised hundreds of thousands of dollars, and make a huge difference. That's what makes Mile High Church so great. It's just people like you who do that. And Tom would want me to know, would want you to know that if you want to contribute it in some way, the best way right now is to show up 4 p.m. Wednesday over at that pumpkin patch. It's the best workout you'll ever get in your life. There's this big truck of pumpkins that come. They come from a Native American reservation, so half the money goes to support them. You put the pumpkins on the ground. We need people to sign up to sell those as well. And there'll be even opportunities to help build the houses at a later time. But now let's hear it for them. With that, thank you for all you do to financially support Mile High Church and for your gifts this morning and ongoing. Let's say our offering affirmation together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is.
I invite you all to get up, because it's a beautiful day. I wake up early
morning sun. I don't know how I do it every day. It rises up and then it falls again. Born only to die away. Look in the mirror and I see myself. I don't know how I do it every day. Standing on this big blue rock, not knowing what I'm doing here. Still believing there's a reason, keep on keeping on my way. Each time I open my eyes, that's when I get to decide how I'm gonna show up and show out in this life. Everybody get up. Oh, it's a beautiful day, yes. Everybody get up. Oh, it's a beautiful day. I'll get up, get up, get up, and be grateful. I'm up, say I'm up, and I am thankful. Get up, get up, get up, and be grateful. I'm up, and I'm ready to play. Look at the clock, it's running day and night. Got no control in those hands. A little soldier just marching through time. I'm so glad I am not a clock, I am alive, and I can choose to dance each time I open my eyes. That's when I get to decide how I am gonna show up and show out in this life. Everybody get up, sing it with me. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Sing it. Everybody get up. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Get up, get up, get up, get up, and be grateful. I'm up, say I'm up, and I'm thankful. Get up, get up, get up, and be grateful. I'm up, and I'm ready to dance break. Everybody get up, 'cause it's a beautiful day, isn't it? Say yes. Everybody get up, 'cause it's a beautiful day. Everybody get up, oh, 'cause it's a beautiful day. Here we go. Everybody get up. Oh, it's a beautiful Thank you so much. Thank you to this beautiful band. Thank you.
Jesse Powers, thank you. Woo! I just feel like I just went to church. Maybe I should start preaching. Oh, wait, Josh already did that. No more. Okay. Hey, by the way, you can get Jesse's music out in the lobby. She has a table out there. She'd be happy to say hi to you. And she's got a really cool little disc. You can take all her music home with you. It's really wonderful. And you can go to jessiepowersmusic.com to purchase it on your own. So we're so grateful to have her here. If you are here for the very first time today, we welcome you. We're so grateful for your presence. We hope you will stop and visit our welcome center out there. And we'd be happy to connect you to the community. And for anybody who feels a call to be prayed for today, for any reason, come forth after the service and allow our wonderful practitioner prayer partners with those beautiful purple stoles to give you a little prayer to uplift you on your way out the door. And thanks for being here with us.
Hey everybody, so again, our Adventures in Faith, we have a small group program. It's totally free. We have groups meeting in person and online. You can sign up at the event center or online. And there's a couple in-person meeting today, but you may not be able to get into those. So if you sign up for Sunday afternoon, we'll start a group that starts next week. But you can have other groups that are Monday and all through the week as well. So consider that. Thanks to our practitioners who are leading those groups. Also want everyone to know that we have a Beyond Divorce class that's starting up. Steve Jansen is one of the people who leads that, who you saw meditating today. For those who are going or have gone through divorce and are ready to start that healing process, this is a wonderful experience and group for you. Lastly, Kirtan is coming up on a Wednesday here. I think it's October 11th. That's devotional singing. Reverend Zamira can tell you much better what it is than I can, and she'll be here next week to do that, but mark your calendars for that. So with that, if you'd like to stand here or at home and repeat this benediction with me. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind, body, and all that I do. I give thanks for it, and I accept it. Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life.
Walk with each other.